Hawaiian forests are more important than you think. We got a chance to sit down with Olelo Woodside, the director of the Nature Conservancy of Hawaii, to talk about why we should protect our forests.
Our forests are one of these unique biological treasures of the world, and there are over 10,000 unique species that rely on our native forests. George was the last of his species, and that species now has gone extinct. As of this year, George, that tree snail, he died, and that species no longer exists on Earth.
How does a healthy forest affect our drinking water?
Well, in Hawaii, healthy forests are critical to our drinking water. Since we're an isolated island in the middle of the ocean, the only way we naturally get our drinking water is from our forests. In Hawaii, a large portion of our drinking water comes from clouds, and clouds carry moisture in them. When they come to our islands, our plants are uniquely designed to help trap and capture the moisture out of the clouds. And then the trees and the ferns and the lichens and the mosses, they all bring that water down into the ground, and it soaks into the aquifer, and that sits down there under our island, and that's how we're able to pump up some drinking water for us. Our forests are like a big sponge. And so when we have a forest that's unhealthy, what happens is we can have too much erosion. And so the rain can come down, and if the forest doesn't have enough plants, it doesn't have enough ferns, that water doesn't get sopped up into a sponge. It just flows right off the land and it goes out into the ocean. That can cause damage to our reefs. It can cause damage to our streams. Sometimes it can cause big flooding in our homes and our areas. And what it means is it's not creating drinking water for us.
How did it directly affect us?
Unhealthy forests directly affect us in a number of ways. So it directly affects our whole islands in that places where native species can live just won't exist anymore. We talked about George the snail. Because the forests aren't healthy, George the snail didn't have a place where he could live. He had to live in a laboratory because the forest was unhealthy. And that directly affects us. We might think, oh, a snail in the forest doesn't directly affect us, but it does. It's a part of our knowledge system. It's a part of our culture. It's also part of the ecosystem, and we're all connected. And so we have to remember that even our lives are affected by George.
Thank you for fitting this interview into your very tight schedule.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me to come and talk with you a little bit about what I do.
Wow, we learned a lot from the information you shared with us. Help us work together towards saving the integrity of our Hawaiian forests.